installations in River State, reason for rise in sea piracy. Flood submerged several communities in Bayelsa State as death toll in Maiduguri flood rises to 30. 400 deported Nigerians arrive from UAE. On the foreign scene, UN chief condemns Israel's killing of employees in Gaza. I'm Ifechu Kumoilen with the news. Now, we begin the news this Thursday afternoon with the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa saying improved surveillance of oil installation in River State may have led to the rise in sea piracy in the state. General Musa said this when he led a delegation of the joint federal government team on security of national assets to visit the River State governor at the government house.
That since we started work, things have really improved. The Operation Delta Safe have actually enhanced on their activities all through the production areas. What we have noticed now is because we've been making life difficult for people to be able to attack, destroy, carry out all these illegal activities with crude oil. Now issues of sea piracy might come up, and then we have also been able to address that. And so we want to assure you, Your Excellency, that we're working together in unison to ensure that we support you in achieving your aim of restoring peace and security within Rivers State.
In his response, River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says he has approved the purchase of 6 gunboats for the Navy to tackle sea piracy on the waterways.
The issue of sea piracy, that is even one of the problems I'm having today. Because of what we're doing through the Navy and the Air Force, who is also supporting us, they've all entered into the waterways now. The waterways around Bonny is their track now. Kidnapping of innocent people. And as we're talking now, we've already started something. I've already directed them to acquire 6 gunboats so we can hand over some of them to the Navy so they can cover some areas of interest.
Governor Fubara expressed optimism that the synergy between the federal and state government in tackling oil bunkering will yield the needed result.
The little that we're doing here are being sabotaged by some persons who doesn't want to see any good in what we're doing. This is not just in the aspect of governance, but also in the aspect of economic activities of this country. And one way or the other, this particular moment has created an opportunity for us to rewrite those stories. And in River State, we have done so much in the aspect of combating the activities of illegal bunkering and pipeline vandalization. When the federal government is now being part to complement what we're doing, I can assure you that it's going to be a total success.
Meanwhile, 9 passengers who were abducted along the Bonny Waterway 2 weeks ago have been released. The chairman of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, River State Chapter, Israel Waribo-Pepo, made this known in an interview with correspondent Emekwatoka. Mr. Waribo-Pepo called on the Nigerian Navy and Marine Police to provide better security along waterways leading to coastal communities in the state. He said naval presence is only visible on the Bonny Waterway, leaving other routes vulnerable to pirate attacks. He said the situation is affecting marine transport.
We are not talking only about Bonny. We are talking of the route between Akukotoru, between Abonima to Kula. We expect the security people there too to show their presence on the river. After the attack on that girl that lost her life, a girl that was going to write her exam at the Ignatius Ajuru University, that was lost her life, that was hit by their bullet. We had another attack of boat last week from a boat coming from Kula to Abonima. There was another attack, but that one they did not succeed. They succeeded in going away with the boat and the engine.
Moving on, ahead of the October 5th local government elections in River State, the Labour Party has denied fielding multiple candidates. In an interview with correspondent Sio Buruwara, the party's state chairman, Hilda Dokubo, dismissed claims that factions within the party led to the selection of separate candidates.
We never ever had to, and then after our primaries, we had just one candidate. Is there a unified Labour Party? Of course, yes. We actually even had a conference where we informed all our members that there is only one Labour Party, that we do not have 2 Labour parties. There are no 2 factions. There's only one faction led by Hilda Dokubo. So everybody is back in the party. Our candidates, we have presented them to RISEC. RISEC has done screening.
Mrs. Dokubo said the party would speak out if it discovered the River State Independent Electoral Commission (RISIEC) was acting selectively in its dealings with political parties. Now, she said this in response to allegations that some political parties had not adhered to the Commission's timetable. On the spot, Denye Pepple, the former chairman of the party, said following intervention from the party's national leadership, differences were set aside and only one candidate was fielded for this election.
And by the help of the national, we were able to come together to, instead of filing different candidates, we were able to come to a point where, unlike other parties that had issues, they are feeding in different candidates. We didn't do that. We only feed in one candidate. We were able to harmonize because it will not be fair for us to A filing candidate, B filing another candidate. So we just filled in one candidate in all the positions. I think that shows enough maturity on our side to be able to do that. And why we did is because we believe that most of the candidates we have can win elections.
Mr. Pepple, however, wants RISIEC to penalize political parties that violate its timetable. In other news, some students of Ignatius Ajuri University of Education have commended the management for banning the appointment of course representatives who help lecturers sell textbooks and handouts. In an interview with our correspondent, they accused some course representatives of adding money to the price of recommended textbooks. They also frowned at the sharp practice of lecturers mandating them to buy their materials and encouraging sorting after exams. The students also urged the school management to go beyond mere memo to full implementation.
We buy textbooks at an outrageous amount. Sometimes we buy some textbooks with almost 8,000 naira, and then by the time we trace the amount down to the bookshop, you observe that the textbooks is just sold at 5,000 naira. Then the lecturers top up their own money plus our course rep, reaping students who do not even have people who are releasing them through school.
At times, a lecturer may publish a book, then state the price at a range of 4,500. Then the course rep, instead of 4,500, he'll add a range of 5,000 and sell the book. Then the balance is his. We had 2 different textbooks we bought and we did not see them.
And when it comes down to the sorting of courses after examination, a lot of persons do not actually fail the course, but because the lecturer is trying to extort money from them, they will tell them that they failed the course.
Other students said the absence of class reps will affect the fixing of classes. It was gathered that the Senate of the university said all recommended textbooks should be sold only at the university bookshops at approved prices, adding that the university will soon set up a book review committee. Now, some ordinary National Diploma (OND) alumni of Captain Ilicha Amadi Polytechnic are calling on the Joint Admission Application Board (JAMB) to fast-track the process for their direct entry admission into various institutions. An alumnus, Favor Iwu, told our correspondent that they may miss out on admissions if the mail sent by JAMB for their verification is not resent to the correct email address.
The mail that was sent for verification to our school was sent to a wrong mail, and there was an omission in a letter S in the name that bears the mail. And this mail was sent since April. So please, we want to appeal to JAMB and every other body involved to please resend all mails regarding our school to the correct mail, which is on our statement of results. The time is limited and we don't want to fail or miss out in this year's direct entry admission process.
JAMB has yet to speak on this. Moving on, a mother of 6, Abiola Fatoba, who was deported by the Kuwaiti government due to her husband's refusal to renew her residency permit, is calling for help to reunite with her kids. Mrs. Fatoba tells gender correspondent Constance Mega that her husband's decision stemmed from ongoing marital issues, particularly his resentment over sending money to her family.
I'm calling upon the government of Kuwait, government of Nigeria, government of America, UK and Canada. I want you to help me. I've been married to Fatoba Femi Adeni Toluwalope. I've been in Kuwait for the past 19 years. We both have 6 children. We had an argument. Because of that, he refused to renew my residence. He has not been responsible. I cannot leave him alone with the children. Please I don't want Kuwait government to send me home.
Mrs. Patobat says she needs help to gain custody of her kids because her husband has been incapable of caring for their children throughout their 19-year marriage due to his frequent absence from home.
I pleaded with him, spoke with some of Nigeria over there. They pleaded with him, but he said he would never renew it. Then I went to Nigeria embassy over there. I was referred to family court. They told me that I have to speak to where I'm working if they can transfer my residence. So they gave me the visa. I pleaded with him, fine for me. He said he would never do that. So I was deported. He has this case. They are over there with the father.
Away from that, 400 Nigerians deported from the United Arab Emirates have arrived in Nigeria. The deportees were received at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, by officials from the Office of the National Security Advisor in collaboration with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, the National Emergency Management Agency, and other relevant stakeholders. Still to come, floods submerged several communities in Bayelsa State as death toll in Maiduguri floods rise to 30. We go on a short commercial break. Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. Death toll in the flood in Maiduguri has risen to 30, with at least 414,000 people displaced. The spokesperson of the National Emergency Management Agency, Manzon Ezekiel, said this yesterday. Mr. Ezekiel said that the agency has opened 9 ID camps to assist the displaced persons. The flood, which was caused by the overflow of the Alao Dam, is said to be the worst in 30 years and has submerged about 70% of Maiduguri. The Borno State government is currently providing immediate aid to the people. They also plan to use a newly allocated 3 billion naira for further relief and rehabilitation efforts. Also in Bayelsa State, floods have submerged several neighborhoods in Yenagoa. This comes after the torrential rains, which started from Tuesday to Wednesday. Some of the areas affected are Cemetery, Azikoro, Ekeki or Kaka, Swali, Bansia, Amarata, and Ovom communities. And now to business. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says Nigeria's total merchandise trade stood at over 31.8 billion naira in the second quarter of 2024. In entertainment, Nigerian comedian Anita Aswoha, popularly known as Real Worry Pikin, has narrated how she attempted suicide over a debt of 22 million naira. And now in sports, Arsenal manager. On the international scene, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugee UNRWA says 6 of its employees have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a school it runs in central Gaza. Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency said a total of 18 people were killed in Wednesday's strike on Al Jawouni School in Nuseirat refugee camp, which is being used as a shelter by thousands of displaced Palestinians. Israel's military said it carried out a precise strike on terrorists planning attacks from the school and that it had taken measures to avoid harm to civilians. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the strike, saying it is totally unacceptable. Now that's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has said improved surveillance of oil installations in River State may be the reason for the rise in sea piracy. Floods have submerged several communities in Bayelsa State as the death toll in Maiduguri floods rises to 30. 400 deported Nigerians have arrived from UAE. And on the foreign scene, UN chief has condemned Israel's killing of its employees in Gaza. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 08087217215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.